Hello all, and welcome to this. And this will be a review rant thing of AEW Dark for the week of the 9/20? No, 9/19, right? Right? I think that's right. I think that's right. So yeah. So when I came back and I said I would review Dark, I said, well, we'll see how long it lasts because I knew, Dark didn't hasn't been necessarily that great, and this was not a good show, and so I do not understand. So this week's show was an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Now you will often hear 90 minutes is the perfect time for a pro wrestling show. Yes, that's true. If you have promos, there was no promos. There was wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling, and there was maybe one good match. Everything else was squash or maybe okay. This was very hard to get through. This was like watching Raw. I remember watching Raw, where it was just like, this is so just having to trudge through this. This wasn't watching 45 minutes. This wasn't even watching 50 minutes. This was watching an hour and a half. And that makes it very difficult. Was not a fan of the show. Was not a fan of the show at all. I definitely think they need to. I don't understand. Here, we'll go through this, and I will talk about my problems with the show. So we started off. We had Red Velvet versus Brandi Rhodes. I'm not the biggest fan of Brandi Rhodes. I'm not. I don't really understand her character very much. Maybe there's like an all elite thing that don't. But I don't think she's on that show. But I don't get her character. It's like she's a heel, she's a face, she's a heel, she's crazy, she's not crazy, maybe she's crazy. Nobody ever really understands her. The fact that she's not that good. I mean, she's fine on this show. And this match was, yeah, it was an AEW women's match with, yeah, it was with Brandi Rhodes. I mean, that's what it was. With to make Brandi, I guess, look good. I guess. I mean, there was a storyline purpose because Anna Jay came out, and so there was that. There was that whole little like Dark Order, Cody's crew kind of feud going on. Though it does kind of scare me where that might be going because I really hope it's not going where I think it's going. But that's for another time. But so we had that. Not a great way to open up the show. Was a not a good match. Just not good at all. Then we had a Butcher and Blade. Eddie Kingston came out with them versus Daniel Garcia and Kevin Blackwood. This was a squash match, which is absolutely fine to have. Butcher and Blade came out. They went over. You know, they kind of Daniel Garcia and Blackwood got to show a little bit. There was a little sloppiness in the match, but it was fine for a squash match. The problem was is there was a lot of this on the show. I don't dislike the Butcher and the Blade, but I do think they need, especially since they like have changed. I think they need like, I don't know. They there needs to be they need to cut a few more promos maybe. Just so, and this is a show to do that. So, but anyways, this show needed promos. This show needed the we squash a guy, we cut a promo, we squash a guy, you squash a guy, you cut a promo type of thing. Yeah, I think it would work better. Just me. Also on the show, oh, I forgot this Beautimus thing. So we had Taz and Excalibur like we did last week, and I think I talked about this on the last one. Um, Taz and Excalibur are fine together. They have a lot of like jokes. Excalibur is much more Excalibur from PWG, which I'm not a fan of, but it's not to that extent. And Taz, for the most part, is having fun. I like Taz, so that's fine. The stuff that a lot of people don't like about Taz doesn't bother me as much, but um, I could see where like the pairing of them is either going to work or not work. Then you add Via Scott to the mix, and that was not good. That added like it was just off. Everything felt off, and then to make matters even worse, because we already had three people, and things were just like not okay. Then you had Ricky Starks to it, and that just made it like even more just not okay. To where I just almost want to just turn the commentary off. And Vita Scott was trying. I think she was trying, but it was just like everything was just all over the place. It didn't work. Taz trying to be a heel, Taz trying to be a dick. Excalibur just kind of just being Excalibur. It was just not okay. It was just not okay. In my opinion. But anyways, Butcher and Blade. Like I said, this was a good. There needed to be like maybe a promo after that. Then we had Penelope Ford versus Dani Jordyn. Another not good match involving the women. The point was to get Penelope Ford over. They talked about everything going on with them and Miro and everything with Kip Sabian. Again, you needed a video package. Again, maybe a promo. Would have been nice. I'm just saying, you don't even need it doesn't even need to be like this is the promo that should be on Dynamite. It just should be a promo leading to whatever you're going to do on Dynamite. That's all it needs to be. Because pretty sure both of them will be on Dynamite, I would think. Just saying. Then we had, oh my god, this match. Then we had Brian Cage versus Megabyte Ronnie. So Megabyte Ronnie is a competitive eater. So the match is going on. I hate the way they have used Brian Cage since he got the FTW championship, because to me, if you're going to give him the championship, then he has to literally be like the guy that everyone says, oh, well, maybe he is the uncrowned champion. Maybe he should be the champion. Maybe, whatever the thing. There's a reason why he has the belt. It makes sense why he has the belt. Since he's had the belt, I just don't feel it. If you go back and you watch, the whole reason why Taz created the belt to start with, and the whole storyline that led up to it, and the whole storyline toward him losing it to Sabu, and, Sabu basically, defending it and hating the championship, and why he hated the champion, like that whole thing, people really need to go back and, watch that, because that's why the championship actually, meant something, where this is just he's a dude with a belt, and it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't even feel like he should have a belt, right? But anyways, Megabyte Ronnie is a competitive eater. And because he's a competitive eater, when he made his comeback, he used a hot dog and in the match. And so that just turned into a mess. I was not okay with this. I was not fine with this. This seems stupid. I don't know why Brian Cage... To me, I don't understand why Brian Cage is doing squash matches on Dark, because to me, he's a big enough name where he doesn't need to be doing this. But maybe every once in a while, just to have him on Dark, but not this is the second week in a row I've seen him on Dark. And it's just why? I know he's been on Dark before, defending the championship, so I'm like, why is he even on here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go. Then we had Santana Ortiz versus Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. This was okay. It was fine. Nothing great, nothing wonderful. Santana and Ortiz won. So this match, I do not understand why they didn't win. Again, cut a promo talking about the match, which I have not seen yet, on Dynamite. Why not just do that? Why not just say, hey, this is what's going on. We're doing a street fight on Dynamite against the Best Friends, and cut a promo and do that sort of thing. I don't understand why that was not done on this show, which was an hour and a half. Because just, oh my god. This, Okay. Then we had Jessy Sorensen versus Will Hobbs. I like Will Hobbs. This was a complete squash. This was fine for what it was. But again, it would have been nice to have Will Hobbs at least get on the mic, even if he's no good on the mic. This is a show he can get on the mic on, and maybe get on the mic. So again, another place where we had mic time and not just other stuff that was on the show for an hour and a half. Yes, I'm gonna keep this hour and a half thing, because this annoyed the hell out of me. The show was so long. Then we had Ivelisse and Diamante versus Skyler Moore and Rachel Chanel, right? This was sloppy. This was one of those, like, I like Ivelisse. There's issues with her, and this match kind of showed it, because if she feels like either you're screwing up or she just doesn't work well with you, it's gonna suck. And that kind of happened here, as there was just a lot of just like not okay stuff in this match. Not necessarily her fault. Just there was just a lot of sloppiness, a lot of just, again, a TNA or AEW women's match. Here we go. And again, I think more of the women need to be on Dark, because I think that's a good place for them to get ring time and do all of this stuff. But again, Ivelisse is going to take on, is going for the NWA Championship on Dynamite. Why not have her cut a promo? It's a tape show. You can have her cut a promo on a tape show. That's fine. Why not have her do it? There you go. So then we had Colt Cabana versus QT Marshall. This was okay. Again, I would have thought this would have at least been good, but I think it fell kind of short. it told, again, we were dealing with, the Dark Order and kind of Cody's crew and the Colt Cabana thing. So this had a really good storyline element to it, though. So that was fine. It told the story. It progressed the Colt Cabana storyline. So that was fine. The match was, like I said, it was okay. I wish I'd maybe gone a little longer, because I think they could have had a good match, I think. So there was that. Then we had Brandi Cutler versus Peter Avalon. This had been set up for a while on Dark. They both came in without, winless, right? And so somebody was going to win, except they said that, and I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do a count out. And they did a count out. They did the count out very well. It worked. It wasn't like it was a no finish for a purpose, which that was good. The match was pretty good. They told a really good story between Cutler and Avalon and Bates. All of it was handled very well. But at this point of the show, I was kind of like, there's more to the show, and this probably the show should really end here. But I thought this was probably the best thing on the show. Not the best saying a lot, but still, this was, for TV, this was fine. This is what you want for a television or YouTube show match. It's fine with this. This is the one match I won't complain too much about. Then we had the Best Friends versus Maxx Stardom and Dante Smiley. Again, it was basically just a way to get the Best Friends over. Again, we got no promo after. We got no nothing leading to the match on Dynamite, which is stupid. I don't understand it. Again, I'm beating a dead horse, but this was just very aggravating, because it's just like, really? I don't need a show with an hour and a half of nothing but wrestling. I need and bad commentary. I just don't. I don't need that. Then we had Dark Order, which was 3-4 Grayson and Uno versus Private Party, Billy and Austin Gunn. This was fine. It wasn't bad. But at this point, hour and a half, no promos. Pretty much okay, maybe wrestling. Was another fine match. Nothing great or wonderful, which is kind of okay. I think this would have made a better opener, personally, just me. Private Party looked good. Billy looked, okay. Austin Gunn looked fine. Dark Order looked fine. It was a fine match. That was it. And that's kind of the review. It wasn't a good show. I would not recommend going out of your way to see this show. There's no reason to watch this show. Again, this show needed promos. I don't understand why you would do a long show like this and not do promos. Maybe they'll explain. Maybe this is a weird thing. I don't know, but it really, really bothered me, because I was just like, oh my god, this is just like an hour of this is fine. But, as long as, I wouldn't even say an hour, probably 50 minutes of this, of a show like this is fine. Once you get over an hour, I don't know. you need a little bit of something. You need a little bit of what you need. Like I said, the Brian Cage thing really bothers me because I remember what the FTW championship was. I remembered how it was used. Kind of amazed they're using it the way they are. Kind of Brian Cage is like, oh, well, he's got this belt, and there's that. And I mean, it's not that they make him look bad, but at the same time, the whole, like, you would expect the FTW championship to be used more by MJF because he's like the uncrowned champion. It makes more sense than like this, or maybe even Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston says, "Hey, I got screwed in the battle royal, right?" And so there's that. So yeah, I'm just like this show was not good. Skip the show. I watched it. I suffered for all of you. Do not watch it. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. All right, I'm out. Later.